Good afternoon, everybody. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath first. Another deep breath, please. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love around the world and to you guys. Lots of love and blessings. I hope you're having a great day and thank you for being here with me. It's beautiful outside today. I just took a nice jog. The energies are a little weird though. It was really positive this morning and then I got really sad for some reason. But feeling better now. And so let's go ahead and roll the dice. I have Metatron for you. I have my new Pocket Tarot from the Wild Unknown Tarot read as well for the message of the day. And the main Twin Flame read on the table as usual. And I might even give you a Divine Masculine read today. We'll see how long the other 3 reads take. I'll try to keep them time-stamped in the bottom too, so if you don't want to watch them all, it'll be easy for you to find them. I have the dice here for the Twin Flames. Today is the 8th of April, 2022 for the Twin Flames. Okay, we have Venus again. Venus came up yesterday. And here it is again. And we have the number 12. So the number of the Hanging Man, which can be Pisces or Capricorn for me, which is also December, which is Capricorn and Sagittarius. And again, Venus, Taurus, and Libra. And then we have Scorpio here as well, which is in the South Node right now. So again, reminding us of the Scorpio traits that we need to let go of that aren't serving us right now. And the 12 is also an ending point as well. So the Pisces energy, as we're in Aries now, Pisces and Capricorn. Definitely Capricorn was coming up today. So Scorpio, Capricorn, and then Taurus and Libra for the Venus energy. But again, the Venus of love. I don't know what Venus is aspecting right now, but if you know and you want to put in the comments, you're welcome to. Okay. So what in love do you need to end or let go of here? And the Metatron read was done at 11:09, so kind of the reverse of 9/11 energy. But it was also interesting because when I did the Wild Unknown deck read, you know how sometimes the Strength card is 8, sometimes it's 11, depending on the deck. And in this deck, it's the 11. So Strength was coming up very significantly and very powerfully for the Divine Feminine today as the 11 of alignment with a very awakened masculine lion inside. It's like the lion heart type of energy for the feminine. And so this was coming up here too because it was at 11:08 to 9 as I did this read. So the 11 and the 8 were coming up there. Again, the interchangeable numbers between the Strength card. And again, the 8 being infinity as well. So remember, for me, the 11 is before the 8 because the 11 is the 2 dancing side by side, sovereign in their sovereignty, but they haven't leaned into each other, that 8th. The 8th, they lean into each other, an 8th each to become the cross, which is then the dancing together, which then becomes the X in the middle of the 8, but the 8 still needs the whispering benches on either end in order to complete the 8. So there's your 11 to 8 in my perspective. So we have Metatron. The underlying energy is the blessings at the bottom. Where did I put my phone? Oh, I think you're going to have to give me a second. So here we have the here's my Metatron deck read today. Okay, so the underlying energy is the first column. The bottom of the deck is the third card there. And then we start at the top at 1, going across for 12 cards. There's my little pointer there. And then, so we go 12 down, and then this one, this one, this one. And then this goes from the top down up here. And then these are like addendum cards down across the bottom. So this is the Metatron deck read. So at the bottom of the deck was Akashic Records. So again, wise Akashic review at the library, at the whispering benches in your private room. And then at 11:11, the first card out was the family. We have the colors were orange, yellow, indigo, and gold. Okay, so sacral chakra, solar plexus, the third eye, and then that gold of that unity, Christ consciousness energy, and our connection to that. And the elements, I don't know if any elements came up here. Nope, no elements came up in the read today, but they did come up. That's why they came up today. Okay, now I get it. So there's no elements that came up in the cards, but during this read I was guided to the elements in a different way. So this was very interesting. So at 11:14, which is justice, and the 14 of the temperance card, that higher love, the underlying energy of gratitude for our abundant universe and the synchronicities that we get, the choices that we have in the dimensional gateway of that 33 of Christ unity consciousness, or an invitation here to join the divine masculine in the private room at the Akashic library on the whispering benches. At 11:17 is justice and the star, and then I was guided to open a book again to a certain page, any page. So I pulled the same book. So again, the book that I used the other day, and this is from Rennes le Chateau. I met these people when I was in the south of France with the Mary Magdalene Mercedes Kirkle retreat, if you're interested. And so today I opened their book to page, where was it? It was pages 132 and 133. So there's the 33 coming up right away, and the 32 of the journey. But also, the first thing I saw were sound waves, a picture of sound waves. And then the title of the page 133, which was The Church of Maria Magdalena and Sound. So, and this book is all about just breaking down how the builders made the churches of Mary Magdalene in the south of France, specifically Rennes le Chateau. And how, all of the acoustics that were so carefully made, the dimensions of the building, all of that stuff that went into making it perfectly, kind of like a Frank Lloyd Wright building, acoustically perfect, but dimensionally perfect as well as connections to the light, at certain times of day, all of that kind of stuff. So they really broke down this one building regarding all of that information. So the page I opened to was the Church of Maria Magdalena and Sound, and it was showing me the picture of the church in a diagram type way of showing sound waves and whatever hertz were being created in the building. And of course, they were using 432 hertz and trying to get that consistently throughout the church. But you realize that the dimensions are based on 144 hertz, because 144 hertz is 236 centimeters, and then 144 times 2 is 472, and then also 144 times 3 equals 432 hertz. So it doesn't equal 432. 144 times 3 equals 432 hertz. Or is it? No, it's actually it is 432. But they use it directly, as in the 432 hertz, but they also use it indirectly, as in its conversion to centimeters, where the 144 times 2 equals 472 centimeters, and then times 3, etc. So what it talked about, it went back to January 17th, because in the book they talk about 3 important days: January 17th, July 22nd, which also came up as very important for me last week, this year, not the 22nd of July, but July 22. And then the third date was September 17th, which the calendar back then was different. So it's all like about a month off because we have the 13th month incorporated there as well. So the January 17th, the first ray of sun is set up for that day, called the sending forth of the apostles, is done at 10:34 in the morning. And by the way, 10 and 34 is the destiny of the energetic exchange. And at that moment, the azimuth, or the sun's angle towards the north, is 144 degrees, and the length of the path of light from the window to the north wall, where the statue of Saint Antoine is, or Midi, is 708 centimeters, or 144 hertz times 3, which is 432 hertz. So you see all of the geometry and sound science that goes into making the building. But for me, it was a visual too, and looking at looking how the circles are put together. You know, they use the Vesica Pisces, but then they use like the flower of life too. The circles are not overlapping, but butting up to each other, and then the third circle overlaps in the middle. The north to south walls were 629 centimeters, and we're showing 8 wavelengths, or 4 up and down, both the ways, at 432 hertz. And just talking about how they get the resonance at the different parts in the church is very interesting. But if you're interested in that book, check it out. The people who wrote it are wonderful people. And then I looked up I was getting, because, you know, notice 532 hertz is also, or excuse me, 432 hertz is 432, just like 321 jump. Well, 532 sound, or excuse me, why do I keep saying 532? So 432 is sound, as we're talking about hertz here. And then I was getting what is then 543. So I looked up 543 in Strong's Greek, and it comes up as meaning disobedience to God's voice. 543. But I felt like it was getting more etheric, right? So if 1, 2, 3 is jump, which is very physical, but it's also jumping into another realm, and the 432 is sound, then what is 543? Let's see, that's 9. So it's 6, 9, and then 12. So it's a higher dimension. So I looked up in Gematria too, which was very interesting. The first answer for 543 was build back better, which was definitely a message for me on working on my back strength more. But also, the second one that came up was 26, my kids, 26, and 26 is the Page of Wands, which is very inspiring, right? Your kids are inspiring you. And then the third one was beautiful. And then the fourth and fifth I skipped because they were politically oriented and I didn't want to bring them up. But the sixth one was rocky. And the seventh one was our code or decoder, which is what we're doing now. And then 8 is a star is born. And 11, so I don't want to go through all of them, but 11 was October 10th, which is 10/10, which is very significant. And the 12th one was dark night rises. And 13 was calculating math, which is what we're doing now. So again, that was 543. And the first card out for this read was, again, the family circles of life coming up. And we went through the word life yesterday, which is the capital L of that right angle, the I of the I am presence, and then the FE of the abundant fool, destined in May, perhaps, and the irony of the 48 on the number 49 card that I was looking at, which is why I opened the book to pages 48 to 49 and gave you what I just gave you. Oh no, I opened up a random page. So I was guided to go back to the book to pages 48 and 49, because right here, the definition of FE, one of them is 48, or the 48th in centimeters and how tall a book is. And it was literally the card of 49, which I was just talking about 49, as that's when Jesus died in 49 AD on this Cathar's path in the south of France. And so I was guided to look up pages 48 and 49, and I didn't know if they'd be facing each other, but they were. And it opened to talking about opening up Jesus to the number 7. And 49 is 7 times 7. And then it was talking about the 7th point, where the midpoint is the 7th point, and then the 6 other directions going out from that center point, which equals the 7. And the whole 2 pages was talking about the 4 pillars of faith being the earth element, hope as the water, love being the air element, and fire as knowledge. But I want to cross out knowledge and write knowing, because I feel it's different. And then Sophia as wisdom, shown together with her 3 daughters, faith, hope, and charity. Faith of being touched, love of a charitable act, and hope of the child. And that's just me paraphrasing. It's not word for word. So when the 3 virtues become a dynamic interaction between heaven and earth, with knowledge added as the 4th pillar, the journey opens out like a spiral. So connection to the 4 elements is freed from the material plane and into the spiritual. And that was pretty much word for word. So on these 2 pages, we're at 1154 was Saint Germain, which 1154 is justice, and the Page of Swords. And that's when my Nat came to say hi. And when Nat comes, it's always about Nat King Cole and unforgettable, that's what you are. And that came up for, it didn't come up right when I wrote Saint Germain, which came up here as a woman who gave to the poor. But then Saint Roche, which came up with the dog. And that's where the Nat came in, unforgettable, the dog who brought him food. Then Saint Madeleine with cross skull and jar of oil, who learned original secrets and rituals directly from her time spent with Jesus. And she's called the apostle to the apostles, according to their book. And then St. Antoine Ermite, or the hermit, with a wild boar laying at his feet, who had very strong faith. And also there was this talk about the lack of the common breath, which is all about meditation and how we get to that other side to get to that place of all of these things. And also hope being... and life being circular as opposed to linear, about rebirthing cycles as opposed to, you're born and then you just get to the end and you die. So they described on these pages as Mary Magdalene being not only the pupil but the equal companion of Jesus, and also the Sophia and the spiritual partner in the bridal chamber in the etheric realms. And then I went to page 9 too, because when the year 49 AD came up, and the year of Jesus' death, that led me to that page that talked about his death there at the church. And that's not the same church as this one. This is the more like famous church that a lot of people go to. The church that I told you about where he died is a very small church off the beaten path. And that one is called, let's see if I can look that up for you here. It's Saint, for some reason it won't stick. Oh, before I forget too, yesterday when I was doing my reads, it was actually right after I posted the read yesterday, I was getting the masculine literally saying that you had me at pinball wizard. That was pretty funny. Here's the church. It's Saint, I just was getting Rainier, as in, the movie, not like a mountain, but as the Cathars and the whatchamacallits. Oh, this came up too as I'm looking through the pages, because I didn't tell you this the other day. On the 5th, I was getting acupuncture points to use. 2 points at the base of your skull, right? So in the back of your head. The 2 points, that you always want to massage underneath those 2 points underneath your bone. There. Oops, sorry about that. The shoulder pads just beneath there, where your neck connects to your shoulders, right there too, where your neck's always sore. And then also at the same time, your crown and your tailbone. And that could be acupressure too. So you could do that with your fingers too, like start at the crown at the base, right? 1 finger on your crown and 1 finger at the base, and try to get a pulse at both fingers. And then bring, I would do the crown one first just to open up the crown, and then bring both fingers to each of those other 2 points, the 2 shoulder points and the 2 head points. But it'd be, I don't know how you could do them all at the same time unless you have, multiple people there. But you can do those 2 on the shoulder and the 2 underneath the skull at the same time with your fingers, but also do each one of those points while holding the crown and try to get a pulse. So that was coming up. And also, let's see here. Oh, here it is. It's It's like Saint Salvatore. It's like Salvira is the way it's spelled. It's Salvayre. Saint Salvire. It's like Elvira, but Alvira. Salvayre. If you want to look it up. Saint. I'm losing my voice. It may not be the correct way of spelling it. Maybe an English way of spelling it, but it's a French chapel, so it might not be actually spelled correctly. I think I saw it spelled in another way as well. It's very close to where I stayed in the south of France in Rennes-les-Bains, which is close to Rennes-le-Château as well. They're all in the same area. And also the word Arce came up, A-R-C-E, because there's a town called Arce, but it's above. So the church is right, it's down an unmarked road from Alet-les-Bains, A-L-E-T, and there's a town called Arce, A-R-C-E, above it. And for some reason I looked it up, the definition for it, and it comes up like a stronghold, like it's like a protection area to protect the chapel there. Very interesting what was coming up. Okay. So now let's get back to where we were, back to where we started from. So we're talking about the circles of life as opposed to linear, and the L of that right angle, the IM, and then the FE, which can be iron, but here it was coming up as the irony of the abundant fool destined in May of the 48 to the 49, and then looking up those two other pages that I just told you about, the 48 to 49, after having looked up 132 to 133. But looking up those two pages and talking about the four pillars and the four elements. And again, Saint Germain, Saint Roche, Saint Madeleine, I'm sorry if I'm not saying their name right, and then again, and then the Hermit. So, and then as we get back to the read here, the family at sunrise. Oh, I looked up page 9 too, because 9 AD came up too, and that's how I got to 49 AD in the first place, because it came up in my read last week or a couple days ago that whether Jesus was 12 or 16 or 17 in 9 AD to decide when he was born. But that was before when I was trying to figure out what the birth date was, and then I just asked him the next morning when I was really fresh, and it came right through, confirming it was 177. But it wasn't until after that that I got the year 49D from after I was talking to my friend from the south of France trip who reminded me of the name that I just gave you of the chapel. And so I looked it up, and that's where I found the blog about how Jesus actually died there and is buried, very close to the chapel. So family at sunrise here, perhaps a meet and greet. Maybe you want to either visualize being with your family each morning when you wake up to send them your love, or maybe you actually do that, especially if you're living with your family. But I'm getting the meditation to release the wounded warrior kundalini here after like having that meet and greet, like in a happy way at the sunrise, and then sitting up straight, meditating with your back straight to release that kundalini of the Queen of Wands, and then stretch and release to release all of that stuck energy, the overload that you don't need. And that was at 12:17, the Hanging Man and the Star, which is about healing and shining your light and dreams. So the Knight of Wands is sending love here to the family, and then transforming the chaos that life is, that energy that comes in from the sun, and control, which is the duality of that, which is funny because that's Maxwell Smart is chaos and control. And you want to transform the chaos and control of life or death, right? Because you don't want to die or be in chaos, to calm freedom instead, to the peace of knowing, love, and joy, to make sense out of it all with your senses, not trying to figure it out with your brain, minding the details, so to speak. So the magic of joy, the yellow solar plexus of confidence to shine your God-given light. What weighs on you today, inner child? And then I was getting the feeling of Jesus literally coming in. And I've really been connecting like one-on-one with Jesus' energy this week. And I always get a lot of stuff about the crucifixion this time of year, but I'm getting more of a one-on-one connection But the reason why Jesus was really coming in today was because all the twins are based on the Jesus Mary Magdalene energies and that template. And we all have, part of our issue with our wounding is that we have a hard time accepting ourselves as Jesus or Mary Magdalene, right? Because they want us to understand that we're on the same level as them, and we don't see ourselves as on the same level as them because that's the way we were raised and templated. So that's part of our block. And for me, I never even connect with Mary Magdalene because I always felt like Mary Magdalene growing up. It was very interesting, but in my etheric realm, I never connect with a specific Mary Magdalene. And also I have trouble, I always connect with Jesus, but I never get Jesus's face. Even though I'll get a body, I won't get a face. So there's this resistance of the Twin Flame Collective, resisting the Jesus and Mary Magdalene knowing and the unworthiness going along with that according to our human history. So at 1228, which is the 12 of the Hanging Man and the 28 of the Twin Flames, what weighs on you from your physical heart, your human heart, giving energy to your family, but yet possessing that high heart as well, giving your heart to the family and the high heart to twin. And how do the 12 faces with the 30 points and with the 20 points and 30 sides of the cosmos, and that's the dodecahedron, how do those 12 faces, 20 points and 30 lines, which lines are also arcs or connections, how do those of the dodecahedron or hedron mirror you or me in judgment, in the wake-up call, the announcement or decision? Why are you stuck between two hearts of transforming chaos of the family past and transmuting the duality of the twin path into a higher love? The indigo child literally wishing or looking at a star in the sky, which was literally coming up. The star in the sky is coming up in this read as the dodeca, helping you feel whole and complete. That if you see it, it sees you too. So like if you see it, you know it because it's seeing you too right back. It's reflecting you instantly. The indigo rebel sent in to break down the old ways so that the crystal can come and build, while the rainbows help keep that high vibration high with love and smiles. The high heart of the rod and staff, the aqua rose gold heart coming up here. So that goes into something else too. But I want to show you the two cards that were coming up today because they were so literal in the message that they were giving us when they were next to each other. So I want to show them. I want to show you them how I saw them as well. So where did you go? Oh, here they are. So these two are side by side. And so here you see the Cosmos card. I'm going to turn the light on here too so you can see them a little better. All right, so you see the Cosmos. This is the dodecahedron with the pentacle shape. So here's the Cosmos mirroring you, and you see it's number 20. And then this card is 21. It's literally showing you the close-up of the star. And here's that star that the indigo child, 21 now, who's now complete because now they've made connection with their star over here, which is the reflection of, that can be the meaning of the reflection of your twin with your family, with the actual, sphere that you've come from. And this is coming up at the bottom of the deck too. These two came up at the end of the read too, of the flame and the sword coming up together, which was very significant as well. You see the flame is climbing into the light, and here's the sword is finding the truth just beneath the surface of the water. So we'll get into that as well. So why are you stuck between two hearts of transforming chaos of the family past, or our wounds, and transmuting the duality between you and your twin into that higher path of a higher love? The indigo child literally wishing or looking at that star in the sky, which is the dodeca, helping you to feel whole and complete. If you see it, then it sees you too. Again, the indigo rebel sent to break down the old ways so that the crystals can come and build it back up, while the rainbows help keep that high vibe high with love and smiles, and the heart of the rod and staff of the twin flame unions in that aqua rose gold heart. And right then I was getting the water eagle, because the aqua is very similar to the aquila or aquila, which references the bird or the eagle. and the rose gold heart, which references the rising of the heart, the gold of the GILDED, right? It's all about the journey and cheering everybody else on, and the heart, which is also earth. And here the water eagle was coming up, as I just showed you that sword card of, finding the sword and just the truth just beneath the water. The water eagle came up as the osprey, but they're very similar, I guess, in personality, but they're very different because the eagle is much bigger than the osprey, which is considered a hawk. They're all considered raptors. They're in the same kind of family, but the eagle is much bigger and stronger. And the other difference is that the osprey actually will go into the water to get their fish, because they live all totally on fish pretty much, whereas the eagle can eat other things. The eagle doesn't go into the water. It kind of swoops in to grasp the fish when they're at the surface of the water, but they can also lose their fish pretty easily that way, whereas the osprey will actually dive into the water and make sure they got a good hold of the fish before they come up again. So the seawater or eagle is known as the fish hawk, the raptor group. There was also an aircraft that came up here, MV-22. The osprey, unlike any other aircraft, and I think it was coming up from 2017, something like that. And then right as I was writing that down, a person on a motorcycle or a moped or something was driving down my street south, really super slow. It was really weird. And that was at 1244, which is the hanging man in the 44 of the grounding and integrating and mastering of receiving of love. And then Osprey Point came up too, which is a location in New Jersey that's not too far from me. And so I looked up from Audubon.org, which brings up my grandmother, my yaya. Her name was Dorothy. That's funny. I have Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and my other grandmother's Esther. So my grandmother, Dorothy, was a bird watcher. So Audubon always triggers me to her because I knew she was a member of the Audubon Society. And plus, when my mom and dad went into an Alzheimer's facility for the first time, it was in Audubon. So there was a lot of synchronicities around Audubon. But again, under that website, the differences between them, they're very, the osprey has a very distinctive fish hawk and now are considered a totally separate family from other hawks. They used to be lumped together with other hawks, but they're totally separate now. The bald eagles sometimes chase the ospreys and force them to drop their catches. In courtship, the ospreys circle as a pair very high, like I guess the eagles do that too. The male may fly high and then dive repeatedly in the vicinity of the nest site, which is usually at the top of a large tree or utility poles, but always near the water, often carrying a fish or a stick. They may nest on the ground on a small island or a cliff or giant cactus in West Mexico. Both build a nest that are very bulky with a pile of sticks lined with smaller materials. And they may use the same nest for years, adding materials each year, which makes it become huge after a long time. Which was funny. I was looking at a map of Mexico because it was part of the website. And as I'm looking at the tip of Mexico, it was weird. I never noticed that. But Cancun, the way the lines were drawn on the map, it literally looked like a penis at the end. That Cancun was literally the tip of it. So that may be coming up for someone for some reason. Kind of funny, though. But the main difference between the osprey and the eagle is the size. The eagle's much bigger. It's up to 14 pounds, whereas the osprey is about 3 to 4.4 pounds, and of course much stronger. The grip in the talons for the osprey, they have 2 forward and 2 back, whereas the eagle has 3 forward and 1 back. And the other thing I told you about, where the ospreys actually dive into the water as opposed to the eagles who don't. They just kind of swoop from the surface. And it's rare to find an eagle on any man-made structure. They're organic. So the aqua rose gold heart was coming up, very specifically around birds today. The bird or eagle who rose, transforming the heart from lead to gold. And that was getting the aqua rose gold heart is ARGH, which literally means that kind of arc, that kind of Charlie Brown expression of being annoyed. But it also means amazed or feeling of wonder. The indigo lovers with the King of Wands here, where balance is needed, with boundaries set daily of patience, balance, love, and nature's keys. The Magi and the Sagi and the journey to the sun, inspired to arc their wings span and conquer their fears by healing and dreaming and helping each other one step at a time at 111, the Magician and the 11 of Justice, truth and balance and alignment, with the collective awakening across the earth, the mother of creation at springtime on earth. So, and just as I turned the page, I heard a truck's horn far away, but when I first started hearing it, I swore I heard my son saying, "Hey, Mom," but then I realized it was a truck's horn, so it was weird. So, inspired to dream and create at 113, which is the Magician and the Transition card, of the Death card, and the journey here of purification with sudden cups of replenishment of golden white light to infinitum, like, always good to send light, golden white light, and traveling from the heart. So again, when you travel, always sharing from the heart with all, and then when standing still, you are the beacon shining on your light to the heavens, the journey through the towers, and then grounding, integrating, and mastering. So this is our journey, is literally going through the tower events, which can just be an epiphany if you decide to do it yourself, or you can make it something much bigger and make it much harder on yourself. So the journey through those sudden events, and then the grounding, integrating, and mastering of it, and allowing yourself to receive love. From winter through fall, from wind to fall, letting go of control where it's time for release. The twin flames untying the karmic knots with the electromagnetic grids, the twin diamonds in the sky, Big Bird and Little Bird were coming up here. I was also getting Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And the eagle and the osprey, right? One's much bigger than the other. The Queen of Swords and the Ten of Cups family, right? The little ones, her bird friends. It's like Snow White and all the little animals around her. It's coming up as the feminine with her animal friends, but also the children, where family doesn't take each other so seriously. It can be very light and fun, just like Snow White with all of her little animals around. At 125, the Magician and the Knight of Wands. So we have the Emperor, twin flames with the Queen of Swords in the cards here, along with the Ten of Cups family, sending you signs and synchronicities of love, with emotional fulfillment or positivity, and the void of the Om, remembering to leave some space at the end of Om. That's 30 of the symbol of Om with the arc and crown on top, pausing to retreat and reflect and take a rest. The Emperor breaks things down like the indigo energy and lets go. The twin flames untying the knots, as the Queen of Swords is the builder, like the crystal children, with the signs and synchronicities from their spirit or animal friends or their children. And again, and those are the rainbow children. So it's literally showing us what they are. As I bring up different topics, they're then explaining how they're broken down. So it's coming up as the masculines being the indigo, the feminines being the crystals, and then the children being the rainbow children, with the family with love and walking away within to rest and pause. And then from 115 to 131, I was texting back and forth with my son, and then I was getting bejesus. You know how you say bejesus? But I was getting be Jesus, as I was getting the shaman and the salt river. So I was getting a lot about the phoenix energy of the desert and the salt river there, and the peace treaty between the eagle and the osprey. And then I was getting the reference to Russia and UK. Over the desert territory, which is the problem in UK, because that's where the ark is underneath the ground, and why it's all dried out there and nowhere else, and why in Russia trying to get dominance over that area because of that reason. But again, the truth of the one-to-one connection, because really they're one, UK and Russia are part of the same unit. The connection of the flame and the sword, of dancing within the union, the flame ascending and taking steps to the light, the sword with the truth found just beneath the surface at night. So I don't know if someone's going to find the ark and finally end this stupid battle that's going on. The leaders answering the call, and the silver warriors of light. The natives and the twins seeing the light and sharing that fire and water energy. So again, it keeps coming up over and over after I talked about it yesterday, how usually fire and water don't mix, right? They don't go together well. But that is the twin flame union, is learning how to exist as fire and water, which is Russia and UK doing the same thing, learning how to balance those two elements. And the numbers were coming up as 55, 42, 8, and 30, which is the truth, the 1-to-1 Two of Cups union, the 8 of the dance between them, and then the 30 of the actual union. And that was at 138, which is the Magician and the Queen of Cups. The truth of the 1-to-1 dancing in union with space between. The underlying energy of nourishment, entitlement, and wise review. And then the family fed by one heart, the Knight of Wands who makes them happy as the inner child looks for something more. And then the sirens were going off at 141, which is the Magician and the Ace of Cups. So the child here, the inner child, wanting something more than just that, to know thyself in relationship to love and harmony. And then the wounded warrior awakening to transmute, transform, and transcend the chaos of life, but without controlling, in the wake-up call to reflection instead, which I always talk about reflection in the middle of the expansion and contraction. The balance of duality needed here with the wounded warrior, King of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. All the Wands family were coming up here. We have the King of Wands, Queen of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the wounded warrior. So the Queen of Wands is here with or as the busy bee, and the indigo, who must stretch and set boundaries daily with them, with the intention for that higher love. So set your intention for that higher love. There's too much fire of the wounded warrior, Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, and King of Wands, which burns and evaporates. But too much ice at the same time freezes out, like control. It blocks. There's a need for cool, cool rain, as the love rains on me to cool the heat. The fire sun and the daughter water complement and work hand in hand. That she is the magnetic core of the earth, triggering the sun to cry. How beautiful is that? So again, we're talking about fire and ice and water, right? And how they don't use, those two elements don't usually get along. But you need the cool rain, right? To cool off from the heat of the sun. So love rains on me to cool the heat, as the fire sun and the water daughter of the center of the earth, the core of the earth, actually complement and work hand in hand as one, as she is the magnetic core of the earth, triggering the sun of the central sun to cry. And there's your rain. So as the sun gets over it, right? The sun gets over it. The sun goes away at night. It rises in her mourning period. How funny is that? So, and then I got my really cool, I ordered a wind decoration, you know, one of those things you put in the garden. But it looks like the torus. It looks like the donut collapsing in on itself. That's pretty cool. So I'll have to see it when it gets really windy. All right, so that was the first read. And now it is what, 43:18? Put that down. All right, so then we have the Pocket Tarot message of the day, which was done this morning as well. So again, today is the 8th, the 8 of the Strength dance, manifestation of dreams, and it adds up to 18:9, which is the moon today. So the strength of the moon and the purple moon, which is 0 point. And this was done at 9:57, which is about that broken heart energy of the separation and disappointment of the hermit being alone. So the underlying energies were coming up as the 6 of Swords, finding peace as we begin this read, and I'll show you the picture of it. Is this the one from today? Yes. So this is the message today, and that's all the same deck. It just starts with the underlying energies at the top and goes across. Okay, so it's like a story. So it starts out with the 6 of Swords, where you're finding peace with issues at work, or being a third party, or dealing with a third party at work or through work, with the wounded warrior reversed in surrender to the healing heart, to an apology or forgiveness. The first card out was the Sun reversed, in need of the sunshine, a need of fun, energy, and happiness, perhaps in need of more exposure or in need of less exposure because you're overexposed, burned, or over-radiated. As the Tower then comes in full force, after the sun went down on me, and we had a big thunderstorm here last night, the Knight of Swords is coming up as unwise and lashing out, or lying and holding their tongue, or no ambition to speak of today, feeling the weight of the world, of recovering from exile, injury, illness, destitution in some way, and then being present to unhappiness of the King of Swords, also reversed, or after the 1,000 suns and the tower, and the crown opening, of the Knight of Swords reversed, feeling the dense energy of the inability to function, or feeling weighed down, or feeling fat, as the King of Swords may have been feeling lonely, because he's reversed here, or maybe dissatisfied with gift or a present, or somebody's presence. So it's like contemplating rewards here of the Emperor in need of the sun, to feel empowered here. So it's like the emperor without the sun, an emperor always needs a sun to take over his throne. So this is talking about the sun in the sky, but also the actual sun, right? There's an issue here, a wound around the emperor, like he's worth nothing without the sun to take the lineage forward, right? So that's the way this is coming up. The contemplation of the emperor in the rewards that he has, even if he doesn't have a sun, of the emperor in need of the sun in the sky, right? Because I always feel that too. When we don't have sun, I'm very seasonally affected that way. But the masculine part of us feeling like we need the sun in order to feel completely empowered, and awakening to decide to rise above blame or pettiness, or to be free to leap when new information comes in that could possibly knock you off balance, or to help you make that decision. So we have at 10:30 here, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Union. So again, blessings regarding the Union, because the Wheel of Fortune did come upright here in a big way. The home or union here is here with the King of Wands, who's upright, and is the star, or has his dream home or family here. So we have 3 men here. We have the Emperor upright, the King of Swords reversed, and the King of Wands upright, which can be a father and 2 sons. We have Leo reversed and Scorpio upright, along with Aries, Aquarius, and another Aries upright, 2 different cards, and then the Virgo upright and Aquarius upright as well here. And the Hermit is upright, came into play as well at the end there. So seeing synchronicities with lots of options and facing temptation here, or hermiting, not taking advantage of all your opportunities to do the things that you love. With then the 7 of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune upright, where things look peaceful, but what secret's being concealed here at 10:39, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Cups? So what are they concealing? What's up their sleeve, or your sleeve, that's destined here? Or sleeping with the enemy with their sword at their bedside just in case? With destiny upright and the world upright, await, big time. The cycle complete, just waiting for the right moment, as the Queen Mother of Swords is perhaps with a lazy eye, with strong knowing. I was just getting strong, like I just looked up Strong's definitions. Where the Queen Mother of Swords is perhaps with a lazy eye. So that could be physically a lazy eye, or maybe they have a lazy third eye. With strong knowing, though, which is claircognizance, of their lioness power in the truth to be told that attracts lightning or epiphanies. She is very knowledgeable, whether educated or the school of hard knocks, but is strong and wise here, harnessing infinite knowing and patience, and that final rose in her mouth, harnessing the power of truth to attract all angles of light. And then I was just getting that 7 that I described in the book, where the 7th is the middle, and then the 6 radiating out from the center, which is the love radiating out from the heart of the lion heart, which is coming up right here. Or suddenly seeing the Queen of Swords as the true source or pure heart that you or she is. Perhaps air, maybe she looks like air on first sight, but with a lion's heart. However, here the Queen of Cups upright may feel attacked by her, by dueling swords or too many truths at once. The Queen of Cups is coming up upright as that loving swan, but can also become aggressive or defensive, or play the victim card due to sensitive emotions at 10:52, which is then the Wheel of Fortune on the side of the Queen of Swords here. So if you're wondering about 2 women and who's who's right or who's got the energy on their side. It's the Queen of Swords here. So then at 10:53, which is the Wheel and the Knight of Swords, this read can show 3 to 4 sides of the masculine, the divine masculine, or the dynamic of different masculines dealing with each other, and then 2 females or 2 sides of the divine feminine. So the strength here is the number 11, and not so much the ability of the masculine or even the feminine not to cry, but the ability to allow yourself to cry and then bounce back to love again. The love of the king of the jungle within the honorable queen here. Okay, so it's like the strong, kind, calm masculine within the honorable, or that that you'd normally, it's like taking the normal attributes of the masculine and putting them within the feminine and vice versa, to make them both masculine and feminine balanced. So the Queen of Cups is upright here, but may be challenged with her verbal skills, that she's not the Queen of Swords. She doesn't possess those same skills, thus feeling less than, instead of being inspired to her own emotional talents that the Queen of Swords may not possess. The swan naturally may be a bit intimidated by the king of the jungle, destined to keep this secret under wraps until its time, now, the world complete or coming full circle, the female with both masculine and feminine traits, loving and truthful without reacting to the Queen of Cups' defense mechanisms or the need to protect herself with a sharp tongue. Remember that war is about the thoughts and words, and about the blind men and the orphans. The battle is physical, where passions and ego are conquered. Sticks and stones may break bones, but words can only hurt you if you let them, at 11:05, which is justice and the Hierophant, or freedom. So allowing yourself freedom here. All right, so now we're going to go to the Twin Flame read. And here is the main read for the Twin Flame read, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And it's 5217, which we just talked about, the Queen of Swords and the Star card, so that's significant. And then here's the whole 7-deck read. So again, the number 7, referencing Jesus today. Okay. All right, so for the 7-deck read, we start out at 4:50 p.m. And the 4 is the Emperor, the 50 is that 10 of Cups of emotional fulfillment, or that happy family, that positivity of emotions. And then at 5:08, which is Greased Lightning actually, the numbers 5 and 8, which is freedom and power, Chalices came up, which has to do with heart and emotions regarding that Queen of Cups energy. And then ES was coming up, as in the initials ES, but also S, which is the S of Sophia. But it also could be the snake, right? So we completed this read at 5:22, which is the Hierophant, or that freedom, change, and expansion, and the 22 of the Fool's Journey, with the major arcana of the Wheel and Justice. The Wheel of Fortune and Justice are both, for me, Libra energies. But before the read is the Higher Self and Transition, which is Pisces and Scorpio. And for me, Higher Self, the Hanging Man, for me, yeah, it's not that. So the Higher Self is Pisces, and then Transition of Scorpio. And then after the read is the Strength card, which is that Leo energy. So we have 4 swords, 2 wands, and 3 cups. There were no pentacles in the main cards of the read. And the number 423 coming up here, which is the 4 of the Emperor, the 23 of the King of Wands that just came up in the last read. And we also have the 42 of the 2 of Cups and the 3 of the Empress. So we have the Emperor and the Empress with the 2 in the middle, which is the High Priestess. But it's also the Divine Feminine energy, or perhaps mediation. Just give me 1 second. I just have to write something down. Okay. So we have the King of Swords as the court card in the read. That's the main court card, the King of Swords, and he was reversed in the other read. And then we have the Knight of Wands before the read. And after the read, the King of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles, or father and child, came up. And that can be him and his inner child as well. And the numbers came up with 333s today, 666s, and 888s. So the 333s of the Trinity, the 369, which is the Tesla energy and all that, And of course the 3, 6, 9, 12 of the 1, 2, 3, 3D, 4, 5, 6, 4D, 7, 8, 9, 5D, and then 10, 11, 12, 6D energy is here. And then the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles. It's also the Golden Gate of the 2 spirals. It's also the 88 here of the twins dancing side by side within their masculine and feminine. And then we have the number 10 as being significant here too, as that high vibration and destiny. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 came up, pick up sticks. And we were just talking about the eagles building their nest of sticks. That's funny. And that could be the 10 as well as the 10 of Wands, right? A whole bunch of sticks, the weight of the world. And we have 36 of that 10 of Wands that I just spoke of. And then 68 of the Page of Pentacles, and 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, and the 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, which is the end of the deck. It's the dream family, heaven on earth. All of those things can be related to that card. So the code line here is all about financial discipline, and it was broken up into financial and disciple and line. So there comes up the line again of the 2 points and linear as opposed to the circle, because the line is actually an arc. It's not a direct line. And the code line is all about financial discipline, along with the number. It could be 8 or 47, which it was actually 47 yesterday when I did this. So the 47 was definitely resonating. And that's my sweet spot too. The numbers 4 to 7, right? Is just in the middle, but airing to the light. So, and the 8 was coming up from either 4, 1, and 3, or 43, 1, and 3, which became the 47. So the 8 of the dancing masculine and feminine, and the 47 of the synchronicities. So the message that came up from the code line today regarding financial discipline was alternating currents, perhaps air conditioning, after we were just talking about the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords, and conditioning of the mind. This can be a sudden event here, as well as division of the Emperor and the Empress of the 4 and the 3, of expanding and contracting or staying in the middle, reflecting the new passion, creativity, or an offer from the mother or Massachusetts or whatever MA may stand for you. That can come up. It doesn't have to be the mother. To separate or disappointed by an offer of the Hermit, or I-10 is coming up. So someone might be traveling on I-10, or I in the high vibe, that 1-0 trill, or feeling off balance at the new moon here that just passed, and the need for financial discipline because of tax day. So it's also coming up as a sudden event that divides, a divine co-creation though. And then the 40 days and 40 nights were coming up with the 40 corpses, also the 4T of a toddler size, but also the 48 coming up again here, which came up in the other read, the 48. And that's the 8 of Cups of walking away within. The 40, again, that feeling of the 40 days and 40 nights of walking away, where 40 is at play. And also 40, is that children that I wrote? "40 Knights" can be coming up, but as in the Knights, like in Knights, the Knights of the Templar type of energy. But it's coming up as 40 gentlemen or masters, right? Like, where is your master? If you're talking to a feminine, like the knight doesn't come in and talk to the female of the house. She talks to her master. And that energy is coming up here. A sudden event that divides in divine co-creation of 40 corpses or 48 or 40 children or plays, or going to the theater here. 40, so maybe someone wrote 40 plays, or going 40 nights of gentlemen and masters with the Page of Cups to wear them out. Or the 43 of the 3 of Cups and joining together, expanding and contracting Sophia's passion, or giving and receiving passion, inspiring growth and creativity of sexual exchange, and the seed of the mother in separation. Or the math shaman, which then Dan Winter was coming up, right? He's an electric engineer, but also, I don't know if he's like technically a physicist, but he talks about quantum physics. But he was coming up when the math shaman came up here. Or thoughts and words of the hermit that may be off balance, in need of financial discipline. So again, and I understand that too. My uncle was a genius, and so they're always very much in their head computing. And so just like us on the twin flame journey, and we get very absorbed into things that we're focused on, it becomes hard to function in the regular 3D duties of taking care of, finances and things like that. So with alternating currents and air conditioning, and perhaps before meals, perhaps divination, or divvying something up, or divide and conquer with the emperor and the empress, or social activities, perhaps dividing up the social activities or children's activities to take care of them, or the emperor taking the high road but has doubts, as Sophia ignites the mother's disappointment, or the hermit, or the nines, or the collective's financial discipline here. And it all probably has to do with tax day. And again, because Matthew was the tax man too, considered in the disciples. So there's a lot coming up between the execution and tax day. And of course, all of that has to do with government. So we start here with the Wheel of Fortune at 610, which is an area code in my area. But 610 is also my mother's birthday and my grandfather's birthday. And it's the 6 of the lovers and the 10 of that high vibration and destiny. And also Gemini and Libra. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, and beneath that, this card here on top is the Wheel of Fortune, and beneath that is the Knight of Wands reversed, the High Priestess reversed, the Seven of Cups upright, the Eight of Swords upright, and then the Transition card reversed. As the Knight of Wands reversed can come up as the player, but they can also come up as someone who had good intentions to follow through, but then couldn't follow through physically, but also can come up as the one who's paralyzed by their passions. And so they're literally just paralyzed and they can't move. And the High Priestess reversed, which can be the secret passion, with synchronicities in heaven in their eyes, the prisoners of transition that is taking forever, or destined to completion with the world and the sealed divine feminine, secret passion, or Pisces both upright and reversed here, with Libra or justice and Scorpio reversed, or for the whole world to see the divine feminine and justice, or Libra, and the inequity of not sharing now that the worst is over, or the bliss, or the unfairness of the deep bliss, on justice, Libra, or two different Pisces here, or two different Libras. I mean, that could be two different timelines, because it came up not only for the Pisces and Libra, but it came up later in the read too. It could be like two people playing out in two different timelines. And the inequity of secret passions of bliss. The kids are soul ties and fond memories of coming clean with prisoner or about imprisonment, and the anxiety of the third party, Three of Cups reversed, with the Queen of Swords out in the cold, with the Empress reversed, or perhaps without a mother. So at 619, which is the lovers and the sun, the Queen of Swords is upright, talking about perhaps hospitalization or an injury or loss of a mother or a difficult mother. As work, perhaps at work, maybe rolling out the natural red carpet with green and pink blankets from their mother. So again, it could be the energy of perhaps someone seeing me talk badly about my mother and then talking positively about my mother. Well, because she had good traits and bad traits, which is okay. Doesn't mean I didn't love my mother. So somebody might be actually like watching me literally and saying that about me or somebody else. Or mother and daughter are being seen here as a lot alike. Or talking about being turned away, or children cleaning up their act or their place and getting over guilt or anxiety or bad influences of third party, or partying or getting the Queen of Swords to... Someone might feel like someone's getting the Queen of Swords, maybe someone who does black magic is putting a curse on someone, or someone thinks that they put a curse on the Empress reversed. Maybe someone had a miscarriage or something like that, and they think that someone's put a curse on them or something like that. There also could be miscarriage of justice here, with Libra upright and Taurus reversed, or destined Empress reversed, or lack of abundance, offering the Ace of Pentacles to the King of Cups upright at 628, which is the lovers and the Two of Wands, or the twin flames. It's interesting, too, talking about, voodoo and things like that. Because years ago, someone had said to me that my twin's partner had dabbled in voodoo in Paris, which I talk about France all the time. And so this kind of energy is coming up around that kind of stuff. And again, whether that kind of stuff is true or not, you can't take everything at face value, right? It could be somebody's fears around those kind of things, because in past lives you might have experienced having a curse put on you. And so there may be built-in fear when you came into this incarnation about that kind of stuff, but maybe you never even experienced it in this life, but you have those fears from another life. So again, you have to go with your own knowing and not take things at face value from other people. So perhaps not expressing true feelings or in a heated exchange, perhaps delays with the Ten of Cups or the Ferris wheel, perhaps the family reunion or a drunk night out, or offered the Ace of Pentacles, time, money, and effort, or only came together to get money out of them. And of course that can be children wanting to come together with their parents. And this can be going to an amusement park, or after a beautiful day, perhaps it was blue skies at an amusement park, perhaps a happy family all drunk and arguing with each other. So again, the two perspectives of different families. And then the soulmate here, and beneath the soulmate is it is safe to love. The Page of Pentacles upright here, hurting themselves to be perfect, perhaps drained in need of sunshine, and pushing them out of bed, no longer inspecting every inch of the hostage, or who's glued to the ceiling while the princess sleeps her life away, and the King of Cups gets his dessert, and Barbie in the basket. That always reminds me of Animal House. And her Mary Janes, or point shoes, or slippers, or one is the hostage and one is in a coma, or meaning, they're asleep and they won't get up, like your kids sleeping till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But maybe they need it. So again, our traditional role in our society is to call someone lazy if they sleep till 2 in the afternoon. But what if someone works till 2 o'clock in the morning? Or what if someone needs to sleep till 2, because teenagers often need 12 hours of sleep? So it's again about us learning not to judge others, because their perspective may be very different than ours. So one may be in a coma or being seen as sleeping too much, or one with the King of Cups pigging out on pizza and dessert, with Leo reversed and Pisces or Capricorn reversed, and surrender here of the 91, and beneath the 91 surrenders the communication of the 33 in Christ unity consciousness, and the 8 of Cups here reversed, and being uncomfortable with the Knight of Swords speaking to the 6 of Cups kids. Again, maybe there's a parent who's uncomfortable with, maybe when you're broken up, you're always uncomfortable about the new parent in your kids' lives. So there may be parents who are paranoid about that. And I experienced that on many levels within my own life, having dealt with those kind of energies. It was never an issue with me, but it was with with new partners, right, who are always also experiencing the same things, but from different perspectives. So for me and my ex, it wasn't an issue with the children getting to know other people. I guess we were just more open-minded in that kind of way. But then being with someone who was more closed-minded in the family, right, and wanting to protect their family from outsiders and not allowing outsiders in, even making me feel like my children were liked but were never actually accepted as part of their family. So it's very interesting, the different perspectives that came up here. So with Knight of Wands reversed, falling short, or perhaps paralyzed by their own passions and reaping rewards, and defenseless to energies of the divine feminine while married, or religious issues, or contract issues, or Taurus upright, or uncomfortable to kids, as the Knight of Swords upright and the Knight of Wands reversed, reaping rewards and refusing to give an excuse, or perhaps they're counting sheep while they're psychically being attacked, or maybe they're just paranoid and thinking they're being attacked, when maybe it's just the energies coming in from the sun, or perhaps the flock of the church is ganging up on the religious leader here, who's seemingly unaffected by it all, and that can be a very narcissistic energy, or perhaps it's just someone who has learned to stay calm, right? Because when you need to be in emergent situations all the time, like at an ER, the people in the ER are very unfazed by death because they deal with it on a day-to-day basis, where another person who never deals with death maybe may cry for years after someone dies in their life. It's a very different perspective. So Sagittarius reversed and Taurus upright here. Taurus upright, Libra upright, and Taurus reversed as well, offering their time, money, and effort to the King of Cups, or paying them off to surrender at 645, which is the Lovers and the Purging card of the 5 of Cups. So then at 7:04, which again is that sweet spot of the 4 to 7, the 7 is the Chariot, the 4 is the Emperor, the Hierophant is destined, with the Empress reversed, and they're both Taurus energies, to pay the King of Cups perhaps to surrender or to give it up. There's an energetic exchange here of exposure or sunshine that someone's deeming unfair, in a losing battle to the Chariot destined to reject a passionate offer, grounding integrating their sovereignty, or perhaps wanting to stay single or in control of their life. As the King of Wands is upright and uncomfortable with the Page of Wands reversed, who may be all over the place with their energy, while the Knight of Cups is upright, offering love to the Page of Pentacles, with new clarity about lovers, affections, and the wounded warriors surrender at 7:14. And 7:14 could be a quaalude, so I don't know if somebody's doing ludes. That could be coming up as well. I don't even know if people do quaaludes anymore, but that's coming up. So perhaps the date, July 14th, could be significant too. But ending conflict of Cancer, and then that's Cancer period right then, at 7:14. And Libra frustrated or feeling strong-armed, grounding, integrating sovereign or their own sovereignty, and right, or perhaps they're bored. This can be an independent child or partner who's bored, and the King of Wands may be upright but uncomfortable with the Page of Wands reversed, who may be mimicking them, right? A child like acting like their parent, except they don't have the life experience just to justify their behavior that way. And I've seen that too within my own extended family. So the King of Wands upright, uncomfortable with the Page of Wands reversed, mimicking them, while the Knight of Cups offers love or emotions or friendship to the Page of Pentacles, with new information on lovers of Gemini or wounded warrior in surrender here. So in the recent past here is the Five of Swords reversed. Post-war, post-a-virus, you could be dealing with post-war issues like PTSD or looting, stealing, internal struggles here. But it's between the two twin energies of the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, which are two sovereigns, the sovereign of emotions and the sovereign of their physical or practical world. Letting go to fix or make amends, or being strong and taming the inner beast, or with new information or clarity of the Knight of Cups, offering love to the Two of Cups, to ground union with the Emperor reversed, retiring, perhaps in awakening, to the Capricorn King of Pentacles and the Sagittarius King of Wands. Maybe they're awakening to them, or awakening to their own children's antics, which could be grown children here, with Sagittarius, Scorpio, or the King of Pentacles upright and the King of Wands upright. They may be each with a child. So we have the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. We have the King of Wands upright and the Knight of Wands reversed. So these can be their own relationship as children. So their inner children we're talking about here and their relationship between them. Or this can be two separate sets of people, right? Two kings and two knights. But they could each be dealing with their own child. Or perhaps the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles grew up together. Maybe they're brothers with issues from their childhood. But as adults, they're upright, but they still have those reversed energies from their childhood that are lingering and coming up perhaps to the surface. And this was at 7:21. And right at 7:21 is the Chariot and the World completion. And right after that, at 7:23 to 24, major lightning was coming up. We had a big storm last night. So after a sudden event, which could be lightning or thunderstorm, like that, the Nine of Swords reversed, along with that Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Wands both reversed, were being present after a sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange between the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, or the two sovereigns, or after the War of the Roses. And this could be present to someone witnessing the energetic exchange between twins when they're not together. And the foundation of divine justice, frustrated without peace, with bad news or no news about home or union. And then Justice or Libra or divorce came through after pushing their agenda, or rumors and immature communication or abuses about or at the home or celebration, or welcoming undesirables into the home, and obviously someone's upset about that. I was just getting 721 too. It's blackjack's coming up. So I don't know why blackjack is coming up, but it is. So it's 714 and 721, and they're a week apart. They're all sevens, right? 714, 21, 28. And the next time on this page is 737, which is unconditional love of the 37. The 14 of the higher love of the temperance card, the 21 of completion, of coming full circle around the world, and then the 37 of the higher love where it steps in there after the storm. Very interesting. So the central energy here is the Six of Swords reversed, the need for peace, of lovers receiving deliveries, or the Knight of Swords from a delivery perhaps, or a message from the Empress reversed, who's in lack, with the Wounded Warrior reversed, surrendering to the Page of Cups, who's upright, with a loving message. Or the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords are tired of taking care of the Empress reversed and the Wounded Warrior reversed. Maybe they take care of their grandparents or something like that. Or they could be Gemini upright and Taurus reversed without peace. The twin flames seeing themselves as grounding their union, rising above the Empress reversed in their messages to the Emperor reversed, awake with or to the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands, both upright here, perhaps with childhood issues, or their kids always at each other, or up to no good. And then the Six of Wands reversed, under the radar, or in need of attention, or the Knight of Cups upright and the Page of Cups trying to bring the lovers together to rise above and awaken and come out. But the Empress reversed perhaps is not okay with this union. The post-War of the Roses and the two Tauruses and two Libras here, again, like I said before, or there could be a divorce, a break from a religion or establishment, of Libra upright and Taurus reversed, due to divine lovers at 737, which is the Chariot of unconditional love, the 37 of the King of Cups, and challenged by the Ace of Wands reversed, with no peace, perhaps sexual frustration or abuse of the Queen of Cups in need of sunshine, vacation, to reap rewards, as the dream girl and the devil waving, or just too good to be true, can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I want you so much. Or Aquarius and Capricorn saying hi or goodbye, and standing up to the Queen of Wands, keeping her at a distance, as the Fool is reversed or embarrassed in front of the Emperor reversed, or the female bull is not used to being ignored, as the Six of Pentacles reversed, the inequity of codependency or addiction here, with Aries reversed times 2 and Cancer upright here, and perhaps at 744, which is the Chariot and grounding integrating, or boredom with the Four of Cups, the Foolish Emperor reversed, or the Fool and the Emperor reversed in the splitting of the bulls, or bold travel to safari that's unfair. Perhaps they spent a whole lot of money to get back at somebody else and didn't share, or shocked about death or a near-death experience, or literally had their heart shocked to return them from the dead. So somebody might have literally died on the table and then been brought back. As the Knight of Cups is upright to offer love to the patient angel, watching over the Emperor reversed, with the Queen of Wands dumping their burdens or responsibilities and being strong with their tail between their legs, or perhaps their pet who's being tamed, or the Queen of Wands Leo with an ego, or Queen of Wands quitting to take care of their pet, their child, their beast, their Leo, their ego, or their Emperor reversed, who could be their father. And now is the Six of Wands reversed, perhaps feeling a failure, or fell off the horse or wagon, under the radar, a neediness for attention, and dumping a load, a burden, or atlas and responsibilities, and embarrassed, falling from grace, or literally falling because you're carrying too much weight, whether that's weight on you or feeling like you're too heavy. The Knight of Cups is upright, offering love for the Devil or Capricorn in the Page of Pentacles, divorced or spiritual, and receiving big love offer from out of the blue, as the King of Cups with Cancer in their chart, or a dream come true, healing after a jealous rage and or deception, and getting over loss, regret, or shame after putting it all out there. Of the Six of Cups upright, perhaps soulmates or children who are loving each other. I was just getting two, like kissing cousins, so there may be like second cousins or even first cousins who get together in a relationship. Maybe they don't want kids, so who cares if it's nobody else's business. That came up in a movie recently too. So after putting it all out there, Six of Cups and the King of Swords, under the radar, longing for each other, and the bittersweet Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, unable to express emotions, with the King of Wands, show of affection, and the Hermit missing their flame at 756, which is the Chariot and the Two of Swords. The Twin Flames, choice of path and a bold move, and the Queen of Pentacles, Cancer, perhaps overworked in a losing battle of love messages to the patient angel or Sagittarius, and the King of Wands now speaking their uncomfortable truth to the uncomfortable Queen of Pentacles, perhaps Virgo. We have the Page of Cups upright, who's over the Knight of Cups, and the King of Wands upright, who's over the patient angel or Sagittarius, and the Hermit here, who's over the Emperor reversed in their antics perhaps, and the Ten of Cups family, who's over the Queen of Wands or Sagittarius and Aries reversed, dumping on Leo, who's upright, or the King of Wands, who's taking care of the Emperor reversed, Hermit, while the Queen of Wands is doing nothing and dumping her responsibilities on the Ten of Cups family or Leo. And soon here is the King of Swords, daydreaming of a gift or being present to the Queen of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles invitation extended to the Page of Wands reversed, who may have rejected their offer, or the Page of Wands reversed finds the Page of Pentacles boring in a wake-up call to the never-ending story post-war, with the Queen of Cups reversed, imprisoned, and now receiving the truth from the King of Swords to the partner or the partiers, offering their time, money, or effort, or a payoff to the Queen of Cups reversed for her suffering or her inability to heal with her hands tied. With Aquarius upright and Scorpio reversed here, or a student with an opportunity to learn from the Master, and perhaps the Aquarius King of Swords offering to Scorpio reversed Queen of Cups, who may be uninterested in their offer, or literally she's imprisoned so she can't accept their offer. The Twin Flames seeing themselves as the Four of Cups wishing on a star, being islands unto themselves at 8:13 of the dance and the 13 of the transition, and it's 4:41 on the clock, which is the reversed of 1:44. The Magician with all their tools out on the table, or all their tools on board, who's coming clean or getting clean, or cleaning up their act or space, in need of sun or fun, or no sun today, with destined lovers out in the cold, with the Hermit shedding light, or walking or welcoming them in. With Gemini or Virgo upright, Libra upright and Virgo upright here, but Leo is reversed. We also have honeymoon here for giving and learning, and true love, that this is a romance of a lifetime. Around the twins are how they're seen as the Three of Cups reversed, taking one cup and pushing three others aside, with synchronicities in heaven in their eyes, under the radar, juggling, performing for the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, community, or legacy, or heaven on earth. And the block here at 8:18, the dance of the moon, perhaps the purple moon, or perhaps dancing under the moon, the block here is the Three of Swords reversed. Why is healing the heart a block? Why is healing separation or disappointment or surgery a block? Post-war with the Queen of Cups reversed, who feels trapped. And financial discipline here, but even more so patience, whether it's a patient in a hospital or patience needed. And the Two of Cups lovers with an offer of a new life from the Ten of Cups family, business, or community, which I don't usually see the Ten of Cups as a business, but I suppose it could be if it's focused around the heart. Of the Hermit missing their flame, and the Emperor reversed with the Queen of Wands, who may be dumping on Leo kids, a pet or pets, or shaming them for having dumped a load, or perhaps dropped a load, right, and then dirtied something, or broke something. And then the Ten of Cups upright, ending the nightmare with issues at work, present to gifts, uncomfortable Queen of Pentacles, healing their heart, or healing the heart of the Leo or child or pet, or the Ten of Cups emotional fulfillment and prosperity and positivity of birthing through the ring of fire, of having made it to the other side at 8:22 of the dance of the Fool's journey, breaking on through to the other side, in a heated exchange perhaps with the Page of Pentacles present, or inviting gifts of the Queen of Swords, who keeps things cool after jumping through fire, and presenting the truth at 8:24, the dance of the Queen of Wands. So destined in need of peace, to justice, grounding and integrating third party or bad influences or no reunion, post-growth spurt without peace, and challenged by frustrations of the King of Swords, unable to heal, apologize, or forgive. And that came up in a show yesterday too, and it was a reality show actually on Netflix, where the guy, refuses to admit they were ever wrong. It's like that Fonzie syndrome, which is a problem. You can't have trust and intimacy in a relationship if someone can't admit when they're wrong. So there's frustrations of the King of Swords, unable to heal, apologize, or forgive, feeling a failure, and perhaps not wanting to admit failure or being wrong, and or in need of attention from the Ten of Cups family, or under the radar, emotionally fulfilled, and birthing is the King of Pentacles as their crown is opening in a heated exchange with the Page of Pentacles, or their own inner child, or present to flame, or with an opening, an invite or an invitation here to their flame, destined to PTSD from marriage or a religious leader or abuse as a child or an establishment, societal establishment, and then Libra and Taurus post-war with divine justice, but in need of peace at the same time that it's not there, and challenged by the lack of arousal or understanding or the lack of humor in a situation under the radar, perhaps wishing on a star with the King of Swords, with third party, healing heart, with a positive heart. Yeah, the King of Swords with third party, healing heart, with a positive heart and family breakthrough. And then I was getting Ramsgate, for me is 4-4, which is looks like 414, as 441 just came up on the clock, so it's very significant, the ones and fours coming up here. And then the King of Pentacles crown opened in a heated exchange or argument with the Page of Pentacles, who's present to their gifts. So a child may be opening up to their psychic gifts, which then triggered the masculines awakening, their crown blasting open at 8:30, which is the dance and our strength, the manifestation of dreams, and the 30 of the union. All right, so might as well give you this divine masculine read here too. It's just a short one. So let's see here. So now it's 1:27:14. And this is just a mini divine masculine read. And this was done at 8:51 last night. The 8 of the dance, the 51 of the King of Swords. Again, the underlying energy of being drained or in need of vacation or sunshine or overexposure here, over radiated perhaps, in need of sunshine though, and the twist of fate, in separation and heartbreak with the High Priestess upright and the Empress reversed, perhaps out the back Jack with the Page of Cups message of love, with Leo, Libra, and Taurus all reversed right here. The recent past is the Nine of Swords and the suffering in silence, but with an innocent heart of the Page of Cups, and the foundation of the world upside down, as everyone understands, with the Divine Feminine in the 5D, or perhaps a Pisces reversed, but the world incomplete, or the need for closure here, and the central energy unable to sleep and rising above, awakening and coming out, and challenged by the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, community, or legacy. And now, in the current moment, was the Lovers reversed, perhaps after sex or after a breakup, and soon the Knight of Cups upright, ready to offer love, where he is the star, the dream, the healer, and around them is the Eight of Swords reversed, releasing themselves from prison. And the challenge being, or the block here, is the Two of Cups upright, of being in a one-on-one relationship, perhaps that's actually loving, and then the Four of Wands union, and after sex glow, perhaps, of two lovers out in the cold, but happy to be together as long as they have each other, perhaps working at night to align or get their ducks in a row, with synchronicities in heaven in their eyes, confusion of the Emperor reversed in deception, and implementing a plan with the Queen of Wands to tell them the truth, or tempted by the Holy Grail, in dark night, death, ending or transition, with the King of Wands reversed, the Page of Wands reversed, the King of Pentacles upright, and the Queen of Swords upright here. Holding on, the Queen of Swords upright, perhaps keeping their cards close to their chest, with the Queen of Cups upright, where she's not getting none, as the Queen of Cups upright, with the Knight of Wands under the radar, or perhaps two women. So there's literally It's like two women. The Queen of Swords with her cards close to her chest, refusing to give any of that, whatever that is, to the Queen of Cups. As the Queen of Cups with the Knight of Wands under the radar, or perhaps two women with issues at work with the twin flame path free to leap, with post or the past returning here. And again, this could be to a female-female relationship. The past returning and then away from a negative past to be strong and tame their inner beast, with the King of Cups reversed, who may be emotionally detached or unavailable or over-emotional and dealing with depression or alcoholism perhaps, but struggling to escape their chains in a juggling act, a performance, or chasing the rainbow for self-satisfaction and then feeling left for dead, with third-party Page of Pentacles invitation to the wounded warrior to surrender, needing to swallow their pride, with the King of Pentacles reversed, and the Magician purging or dumping a load, perhaps on fire as the devil, but uncomfortable with the Queen of Pentacles, carrying the fireworks always, or carrying the weight of the world and broken and silenced, perhaps sharing clarity with the King of Swords reversed, post-war, virus, or withholding time, money, and effort, feeling defenseless to the energies of the past, and the energetic exchange, along with the Tower, sudden events, with the patient angel recovering from grief, with the Page of Swords reversed being immature, or seeing themselves as an immature loser, divorced without peace, with the Hermit reversed and the Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or divorcee without peace, losing their mind, without emotional satisfaction, and injustice despite their sovereignty and having everything they need, with Virgo reversed and Libra reversed, unfulfilled without each other despite everything going their way, perhaps except the relationship part. Okay, so that comes up. So let's just pull a few oracle cards, see what comes up for you guys. Okay, we'll do the wild unknown animal spirits. Take a deep breath. It's 4:52. It's the Emperor and the Queen of Swords. And it's 1:32 on the clock too for the oracle cards, if you want to put that down. And that's the 1:32 is the Magician, and the 32 of the Journey, the Six of Wands. All right, let's see what comes up with these guys. Okay, we have the Elk, and I saw him before I shuffled, so he's definitely coming out here for a reason. The Elk is supposed to be a great parent, friend, all that kind of stuff, except it doesn't eat properly. He can be a real hothead and a jerk. And here's that energy too about the Emperor without his son. There's another reference here to that. And there's the Buffalo too. So these could also be two bulls. There could be some Taurus energy here. Again, bullheadedness coming up here. But this card also comes up as someone who's really well grounded and heavenly too. But not this one when they don't eat right. They could have a temper on them over here. There could be some weight gain over here too. So whoever this can be for you may be feeling that way. And then we have the Raccoon who's hiding or uninspired in the dark. They're really feeling those depressive energies and not even wanting to dig through the trash. Right? This could be someone cuddling up to a mother here because they're just feeling kind of scared of the dark. And here's the father pissed off. And that could be, an issue with parents with their children sleeping with them. And then here we have another child energy of the Otter. A little belly sticking out of their diaper or something. Who's just really curious, but they're in really positive energy over here. And then we have the Turtle. So we have the whole gang here. And the Turtle's in the dark too. But this one doesn't like to sleep with anyone else. They want room to spread out. Don't fence me in. I can't take it here. Get out of the bed. Get out of my room. This could be like one kid went to sleep with the parents because they were scared of the thunderstorm. And here's the other one who's totally not scared, who went to be with somebody else. And this one doesn't want them in their bed because they don't like to sleep with anybody else. That's really funny. They're so cute. I love this Otter card. And then here we have the Tarantula with the snake. But this is also the collective awakening. And the tarantula in this deck is all about crossroads. Who needs to make a decision in this awakening of the collective. So, I mean, they could literally be just starting to wake up and realize they need to make a decision. And perhaps they need wise counsel here regarding the hyena over here, who's kind of slinking away, not wanting to be noticed. This could be someone who embarrassed themselves. Okay. So again, family issues awakening. Who's awakening in the family? Are the children awakening? Is the parent awakening? And they're causing new dynamics in the family, right? Because now all of a sudden there's going to be new perspectives and they need wise counsel, but they can't go to the normal counselor because they won't understand. So it's literally just bringing up those energies in general. And then we have as the fish out of water, which is exactly what I just said, okay? So it's going to be a lot of fishes out of water and not knowing where to go or where to turn or what to do. And then who comes to the rescue here? The Bengal tiger who just made it through the ring of fire, and Mr. Ed, of course. A horse is a horse, of course, of course, of course, it's Mr. Ed. All right, so we have the Bengal tiger and the horse, very wise here. And they're watching, they're very in tune with what's going on everywhere. And so that's your role, to be there for them when all of a sudden they get confused because their family dynamics are getting really weird and they don't get it. So who are they going to go to, right? Ghostbusters. So that's what's coming up, you guys. You are going to be Mr. Ed and the Bengal tiger to help others understand what's going on. And then here's the frog out in the rain, right? They were fine, but then all of a sudden, where'd the rain come from? Love, rain on me, remember? The sun was getting over it overnight. And then woke up to her morning period. So it could be someone feeling that. Just that all of a sudden instant change of how they felt. Like they were fine one minute, and the next minute I'm crying my eyes out. And there's the phoenix rising. There we go, the awakening. Got the fox here too, right? So the fox is very loyal, going through a big awakening here. This could be someone in Phoenix here too. Again, here's the healing of the wounds. This came up with the crucifixion and tax day. And there's the foxy accountant or the foxy whoever in your life who's getting a lot of attention, right? Because right now Jesus is getting a lot of attention, Mary Magdalene, and the accountant's getting a lot of attention, right? Because everybody's attacking them at once. And we have the rising here. So what happens after the attack and the killing is the rising. And then there's this all of a sudden feeling of overwhelm, which is they're telling you. It's due to Jesus and it's due to tax day. Because you're feeling the crucifixion. It's part of the public energy. So if you're changing emotions all of a sudden, why you want to know why your emotions are changing before you can be able to explain it to somebody else. It can be many things. It can be the sun's energies coming in. All of a sudden we're getting a big pulse coming into the planet, which is very hard on our bodies, which can stress us out. It can be, if you're a twin, you may be feeling your twin going through something, and so all of a sudden you're sad, or all of a sudden you're mad about something. Or it can be you're feeling the collective energy, you're feeling the war, you're feeling the crucifixion, you're feeling tax day. This is a very difficult time, and you're feeling Aries, which is the beginning of the year, and it's very headstrong about going forward. Let's get going, let's do something, okay? So those are all the energies. Allow it all. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to come out of crying and all of a sudden get happy and inspired. Whatever works, it's fine. But just be confident in your own knowing and that you can be there for the others who are now going through this, so you can explain why it's happening, right? So they don't feel crazy. Okay, so let's go for the journey of love. And I felt like that today. I felt great, and then all of a sudden I was sad, and then I decided to go out for my run, and then I felt teary-eyed again on my run, and then I felt fine after my run. So yeah, it was a lot of back and forth energy. And it's really spontaneous. Like literally, I'll be in a great mood one second, and the next minute I'm like, why did I get sad? Why did I go there all of a sudden? It just came out of nowhere, you know? Okay, so from the journey of love, Take a deep breath. It's just a little choppy. Okay. The spaces between the words, and this card's very 2D as well, right? There's no dimension to it. The 24 of the Queen of Wands, right? So it may be hard to explain to someone who's very two-dimensional what it is to be 4 or 5-dimensional, right? So you have to be patient and also give people space, the space between the words. Like, I can talk, I know how I am talking-wise, and I tend to trip over my words because I'm not, I don't articulate well. My brain and my mouth do not work well together. It's just not one of my talents. But we can also slow down to be able to speak more clearly so that others who aren't up on all the information that we know can understand. So just remember to speak slowly and take time for them to ask questions. Or paint, use drawings or shapes to make them understand. Just like you learn quicker by certain numbers which have multiple meanings for you. Like for me in numerology, one number means a whole bunch of different things. So it tells me a whole lot more than just one word. And just like I look up words in the dictionary all the time, so I can give you all the different perspectives of one word. It doesn't just mean one thing. But again, this is perhaps painting a picture, painting a pretty picture for someone to help them understand, or whatever they resonate with. And then riding the cosmic wave of the 60, which is finding that peace and just going with the flow, no matter what it is, even if it's very low 2D energy, which would make you feel kind of really crappy. But riding that wave of the peace, no matter what, being able to come out of this energy and going right back up. And then we have the shifting universe. So it's talking about exactly what we were talking about just now. All of the changing of the symbols and the energies all kind of discombobulated and all together, just like a big mishmash of, what's the word I was using? Bejesus. 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 And here the number 7 again, as I talk about Jesus, and 7 came up with Jesus in the book as he opened his robe. The 7 is the midpoint, with the 6 rays emanating out from the midpoint. And this is the 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords, and then the 7 shifting universe. There's one more card that wants to be seen here. We have the 61, which is the 7. 61 is a 7. It's also the risk card, about her taking a risk to love herself first and then be loved no matter what, even if it's a sad day or even if she's crying or hurt. But she loves no matter what, not being afraid to love again, to get hurt and just come right back, bounce right back, like the weebles wobble, they don't fall down. That's what they always say about, I was born just before midnight, so people always say if you're born quarter of or after the midnight, that you're like a weeble. Like weebles, you can punch them, but they keep popping back up no matter what you do. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. So that kind of energy is coming up here, okay? And then the bottom of the deck, and you see how different all 4 cards are. It's a mishmash of everything. And then the cosmic butterfly is here at the bottom, which is that very motherly. You see a breast shape here, but it's also a butterfly. And also that this energy back here of that golden light trying to break through the sacral energy of sexuality and creativity of the cosmic butterfly transforming, right? From the caterpillar into the butterfly, the 36 of the weight of the world on their shoulders, right? When you have to go through that kind of transformation, it's big. And what's beneath that? We have the legacy of light of Jesus. So here we have Jesus on the cross and trying to transmute the energies of the past 2,000 years and living with that as our model of needing to suffer or sacrifice, when that's not the point at all. It's actually the other part of Jesus of sitting down and breaking bread and enjoying each other's company and each other's abilities and each other's talents and supporting each other's talents and admiring each other's differences and complimenting each other instead of being at war with each other. The 53 of the Knight of Swords here, the legacy of light of him holding that sleeping bag and then the child going camping. That is the energy that needs to be here along with the mother's love. The Atlas energy of the weight of the world, right? Of the mother who's willing to carry a child for 9 months and then push them out of her canal. The mother understands that. It's out of love, not out of suffering or sacrifice. Why would you do it if you didn't really want to have a child, right? Of course, accidents happen, but So anyway, there's very disjointed energies here. They're completely different cards. This one's completely 2D with the Queen of Wands. This was completely peace and riding the wave and full compassion and knowing here. And then here's understanding more of an intellectual perspective of symbols and structures and how we learn from that, and shifting. And again, the 7 is the key of the shifting universe, of the change. Even when you're at peace, sometimes changes come up. And then taking the risk to love yourself anyway, even if you just had a temper tantrum. So again, being the tiger and the horse. And I'm not going to read the elk. He was the first card out, but you know he's the hothead and he's a good guy, and that's what it talks about. I'm going to read to you the tiger and the horse, because we need them today. So the tiger is fire, and the horse is earth. I think the horse is going to come up first here. Yeah. The horse is momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. The horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum, so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back toward any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus or meditation are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When they're in balance, they can achieve anything. They never give up. And when they're out of balance, they run away or feel weak. To bring back into balance, strength training. Okay, so some of you may need some strength training, me included. And then we have tiger here. And the tiger says, lunar force, ease in the darkness, and the feminine energy. So again, we have this wonderful play of feminine and masculine energies, the horse being very saggy masculine energy. And then here's the feminine energy of the stalking tiger. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. When they're in balance, they're passionate, strong, and sensual. When they're out of balance, they may be overstimulated. So to bring back into balance, trataka, which is candle gazing. So again, we have two opposite perspectives here. One is more feminine, who may become overstimulated easily, right? Because they're more comfortable with the beingness of a human, and then need candle gazing to come out of it. Whereas the masculine may be understimulated or become understimulated and need to work out to get themselves back in order again. So again, two very different things. One is about physical working out, and the other one's about the spiritual workout. So very good combination here of the masculine and feminine here, right? We're having the masculine and the feminine here energy, okay? And then the journey of love with the 24 as the space between the words. When we look for guidance, we often look for words that clarify, to reassure and help us find our authentic path through the chaos. Yet there's also guidance in the spaces between the words, between each letter, between all the happenings in our lives, where there's nothing to be said, where there are no lines to be colored in, where there's just openness. Those are the times when we need to freestyle. We need to do or not do based on what is happening for us right at the moment, which is also coming up in reference to the horse and the tiger, right? They're coming from two different perspectives. So you can't tell everyone the same thing to do, because someone might need to work out and someone else may need to stop working out so much. It's all about balance. We need to do or not do based on what's happening for us right at the moment. Often there's far less to do than we think, and often we don't need to think. There's a space forming around you now. Sometimes when we sense this subconsciously, we feel exhilarated and excited, or anxious and nervous and not even sure why. There is a sense, perhaps, that we wouldn't mind having a map of this unknown terrain. Or perhaps we're happy to wing it and make it up as we go. Either way, there's space to just be. It's a receiver for the divine presence. If you have a lot of space and unknowing around you now, or within you, then just know that there's a lot of divine presence to be received. It can't be explained, really. It just happens between the words, and yet without it, there wouldn't be any words or guidance at all. This oracle speaks to you. Enter the space and let go. For your time to receive is upon you. Be blessed. Day Birth is the title of the poem. The eastern rise of time, on newborn wings, bursts out across the lifeless crowd and sings its climb to heights unknown, of beauty, warmth, and power upon its throne, to fade again in the western sky, and only for a moment lie before it takes its course again, to breathe once more in the heart of man. And that parallels with the man being the sun, and then having to cry, and then have a night out, and then feeling fine in the morning, coming back. But then maybe she's not feeling fine in the morning because she got her period. So you see how it goes. So I hope you like that one. I did. And as your nagging mother, or you can see that from another perspective, then I'm just inviting you, because you never have to do anything I say. You can just do whatever you want. Just inviting you to drink some water, get some rest, get some joy, and get some nature. Or try to find that balance in your each day. And if you don't one day, then just go back to trying to get it the next. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all good. And rise and be love, you guys. Bye.